This is the new Echo Dot Max. It is the most powerful Echo Dot Amazon has made and the most expensive. At $99, it replaces the full-size Echo that was out, but is it worth that price tag? Well, that's what we're going to talk about in this video. I'll share with you what's new with this. We'll talk about the sound and do a little sound demo, and at the end, I'll share my recommendations with this. Also, I'll put links down in the description, so if you want to learn more about the Echo Dot Max or pick up one, it'll be down there, along with a link to the Echo Studio. I will be making a video on that too, so if you want to see that, make sure to subscribe. So here's a look at the new Echo Dot Max next to the current Echo Dot, and you can see it is larger and it has a new Death Star look to it with the buttons on front and a new material. And this new material actually feels kind of rubbery. It is twice as much now. This is $49.99. This is $99.99. I will say this has some decent upgrades over this. So one of the things you get with this is early access to Alexa Plus. Some of you may already have early access, and if you do, you may not want to get this device. The Echo Dot Max has a new processor. It is the AZ3 Neuro processor, and in trying to learn more about what it does, is it helps with more of the local AI processing and does a better job of hearing you when there's other noise going on in the room. Short of that, it doesn't feel like responses are really that much quicker than using something like the Echo Dot or the full size. I've had access to Alexa Plus for a little while now, and I haven't really noticed much of a difference in speed using this or the Echo Studio. Another new feature of the Dot Max is Omnisense. Omnisense is Amazon's new thing that it takes the different sensors within these Echoes and uses them together to know more about what's going on within your house. Like with this, it's using ultrasound to bounce around and be able to tell whether someone's in the room or not. This has a temperature sensor, so using temperature sensor, you could write routines to turn on the air conditioning, or use that ultrasound presence sensor to turn on lights when you walk in the room, or when you leave a room, turn off lights. So that could be a decent upgrade if you want to use this device for that too. I do like presence sensors over motion sensors because motion sensors will time out at times, or if you're not moving around enough, where presence sensing knows you're in the room even if you're not moving. The Echo Dot Max has some other smart home control improvements. It has a Zigbee hub built in and a thread border router, which is something that the full-size Echo had, but the Echo Dot doesn't have. So that if you don't have a thread border router or Zigbee hub, this could be a good addition for you. If you already have one of the Echoes, 4th generations, you already got that stuff covered. Now, with the Zigbee hub and the thread border router, that allows you to pair devices directly to the Echo. So there are a ton of Zigbee devices that can use this as the hub, or you take advantage of new, faster thread devices and just pair it directly to it. The Echo Dot Max is also a Matter controller. Unlike this, you're not able to pair or use it for Matter devices, where with the Dot Max you buy anything with the Matter logo and you could add it into your Alexa home. If you don't have those hubs or Matter controller, it may be worth getting, but if you already own an Echo 4th generation, I have a hard time recommending this. Now, when it comes to sound, I'm going to do a comparison between the Echo 4th generation and the Echo Dot. The Echo Dot has one 1.73-inch speaker in it. The Echo Dot Max has a 2.5-inch woofer and a separate tweeter that is 0.8 inches. 0.8 inches is the same size as the two tweeters inside of the full-size Echo. This has a 3-inch woofer. So we'll first do a comparison between the Dot and the Max, and this is always hard to do in a video, trying to capture audio accurately. You can't use this as the final determination of how well these sounds. It just gives you a reference of the difference between them. So don't get angry in there, you're wrong, it sounds like this. You may hear something different than I do. It's hard to capture that. I'm not in some some sound lab here. I am in my office.
I watch you as you drive. Do you know I'm looking? And I can't help but smile. Do you know how much I love you? You put my favorite song on.
After hearing them side by side, the Dot Max sounds way better than the regular Dot. Having the separate woofer and tweeter makes a big difference. This sounds a little more balanced. One of the things I've noticed with the Dot Max is that high end is a little too present there. This, it feels like, even though it doesn't have the same amount of bass, there's just more balance in it. If you go in and you turn down the treble and dial some of that high end back, it definitely makes a difference. I would say this is a good sound upgrade over the Dot, definitely. Now, we'll do a comparison with this. This is can't compete with this big boy. Let's dive into this.
I watch you as you drive. Do you know I'm looking? And I can't help but smile. Do you know how much I love you?
So after listening to both side by side, the low end isn't there. I don't know if it's the shape of this. It does have a 1/2 inch bigger woofer, but I have a feeling the larger size plays a part in it. Like, you can feel on the surface of my desk, you could feel the bass more in this. There's also, even though it has the same size tweeters, this just feels a lot more balanced. I left the EQ just at its default EQ settings, and this just feels like the low end and high end just are blended better, and it has better mid-range out of this. Where the Dot Max definitely has more bass than the previous Dot, but not as much as this. And again, the woofer's small in it. As for the high end, it's almost ear-piercing at times. Part of me wonders if some of the sound is negatively affected by putting the buttons here. With the full-size Echo, you have stereo tweeters position pointed towards you, where I don't know how you have a tweeter pointed towards you when there's a big old buttons in the way of it. But anyways, when you dial this back in the app and pull some of that higher end out and you bump up the bass, it sounds closer, but it still can't compete with this. So if you're happy with the sound that's coming out of the full-size Echoes, I wouldn't get this to replace it. A new feature that may make you want to pick one of these up, or actually 4 of these up, is coming soon, is a new surround sound feature. You can take 4 of these and you can pair it up with an Echo Sub, which the Echo Sub seems to be out of stock. You can't even get the things. But you would definitely need the Echo Sub if you try to make a surround sound system out of these. But if you take 4 of them, they're supposed to calibrate themselves and know where they're at within the room. This does have automatic adjustment for the sound, so when it's placed somewhere, it'll try to adjust the sound to give you the best sound for where it's positioned. Personally, I can't see making a surround sound out of these, especially with the high end out of them. I feel like there's a whole mid-range missing. So let's talk some pros and cons. I'd say the pros of this device, and what actually makes it kind of worth it over the regular Echo Dot, is that it is a significant sound improvement. You do have to dial it in. You do have those smart home features in there so that you can pair devices directly to it. And you also have the Omnisense, so you can have the presence detection and that temperature sensor. If you're going to write routines that take advantage of presence sensing, it can be worth it. If you're not going to do either of those things, save the money and just go with the Dot. Because once you get access to Alexa Plus, then that takes away one of these features that you might want to buy this for. Like for me, I don't listen to music on my Echoes. I don't need the sensors out of them. I would end up going with an Echo Dot. I have access to Alexa Plus, and I don't notice that much of a performance difference. So for me, I would still end up saving the money. I definitely would not go and replace this with it. If you think you'll use the surround sound feature, maybe that'll be cool. I don't think the audio is good enough for me to want to use this as a surround sound feature. The Echo Studio would really be a better choice for that, but once you buy 4 of them, you might have been better off buying a separate dedicated surround sound system. Another pro for this over the Echo Dot is you do get the early access to Alexa Plus, and I did make a video on talking with Alexa Plus, and it is impressive that you can just have this full conversation back and forth. It's still limited. It's not up there with ChatGPT and all yet. Negatives of this is for $99, if you already have one of these Echoes, I wouldn't replace it for sound. Another potential negative is the $99 versus $49, especially if you're not going to use the smart features or if you don't listen to music. Now, when it comes to pricing, I don't mind the pricing, and some folks aren't going to want to hear this, but it feels like Amazon is finally pricing these things where they should be. The $49 and the $99 for this, Amazon's been underpricing these things. And I know there's folks out there that are going to be like, yeah, but not everyone can afford. I'm sorry. Amazon went $25 billion in debt using Alexa and selling these devices and making no money. If they hadn't gone that route and they charge more for the devices, we might not have Echo shows full of ads now. But we now have a bunch of ads. I'm all for better hardware and better features, even if it costs more. There's times that Echoes, that they've just been the bare minimum to get by. And I think it's hurt the smart home industry. It's made Apple look like they're expensive. And people are like, Apple overcharges, where in reality, Amazon undercharged at times. Now, what do you think of the Echo Dot Max? Are these upgrades worth the $99 price tag? Or would you just stick with the regular Echo Dot? Let us know in the comment section. If you made it this far, consider subscribing if you haven't. If you can, give this one a like. It definitely helps the channel out. And also consider becoming a channel member for exclusive content. Thanks for watching. Bye.